Hi, I'm Mickey. You might know me from NileFM or just here from Instagram. This is my first time doing a reel, so I apologize if the quality isn't up to the usual. But this is a very important topic for me, and I wanted to discuss it. It's November, which is Men's Health Awareness Month, and it's not just for mental health, it's to draw attention to prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, and suicide prevention. But I would like to focus on mental health, especially because there is still a very prevalent stigma in the country when it comes to seeking professional help for your mental health. Most people still think that going to a therapist means you're crazy or something like that. And of course, there are severe cases of mental illness, but generally, especially because most men don't want to talk about their feelings or feel that if they talk about their feelings or express how they feel or they're vulnerable, that means they're weak. And being vulnerable is not the same as being weak. For me specifically, I've been going to therapy for 4 years. I initially went to therapy because I had panic attacks and I had very severe anxiety. And it came about suddenly with no trigger. Just out of the blue, one day, I got a panic attack and I didn't understand what it was. And I went to the hospital and I was like, what is going on? And eventually we realized it was a psychological thing, not a physical thing, which can very much affect you physically. So I started going to therapy for anxiety. And even after my anxiety was under control, whether through cognitive behavioral therapy or through medication, I continued going to therapy. The frequency increases or decreases depending on need, but I've been consistently going to therapy for that time, for that entire time, even on days when things are quote unquote good. It's a good way to stay grounded and connect with you. Be self aware, basically. So I think it's really important that guys, specifically, I think this is important for everyone, but because it is Men's Health Awareness Month, I think it's important for men, especially men who bottle it up a lot, uh, to seek professional help, even if they don't think that they're suffering from any diagnosable mental illness. Going to therapy is not necessarily to fix something that you think is wrong with your brain. It can also be a great way to be more self aware, to be more in touch with your own feelings, and to be a generally better human being. And I think there's no shame in it whatsoever. I go to therapy. I'm not ashamed at all about going to therapy. I don't think it's weakness. I don't think it's something to be to feel that being vulnerable is okay. And surprisingly, the more vulnerable you are, the braver and stronger you'll become. So if you're a guy out there that is having trouble with their feelings and they're not sure who to talk to, I would advise you to find a therapist that you're comfortable with. There's a lot of people, I would say probably somebody in your generation, not too old, so they'd have an idea of life as our generation. It's better to see someone, even if you're not suffering from any extreme psychological problems. Uh, but especially if you are, actually, if you are suffering from extreme psychological problems, you should go see someone. But if you're not, you should still go see someone. Everybody should go see a therapist. We all need therapy, and it's a great way to stay grounded and feel generally better about yourself. We live in a very stressful time, uh, not to mention the pandemic and the way the economy is and the way the world is really. So generally, we live in a very stressful time, and a lot of us are under pressure. Most of us are under pressure, and therapy is a great way to ease at least a little bit of that pressure. So again, if you feel overwhelmed, stressed out, anxious, tired all the time, maybe go see a therapist. You might not hit it off with the first one. That's fine. That's perfectly normal that you don't hit it off with your first therapist. You try one or two until you find somebody you're comfortable with. And You don't have to go every week. You can go once every 2 weeks, once a month, depending on how comfortable you are with it and how much you feel you need. And trust me, you will feel better. Just the act of going and doing something about it and talking, that alone makes you feel better. And of course, a professional would help as well. So it's not like talking to your friends, although that helps too, but but it's a little bit different. Uh, your friends come with bias, the therapist does not. So yeah, it's Men's Health Awareness Month again, November, and I encourage every guy out there who thinks it's weakness to be vulnerable to try and be vulnerable from time to time and see how it changes, you know, things for you.